Welcome to this explainer. Today, we are going to completely demystify the workflow automation landscape. Look, if you're building with AI right now, you don't just need to know how to prompt a model. You actually need to know how to wire that model into your real-world systems. By the end of this session, you're going to have the exact mental framework you need to confidently choose the absolute right platform for any project you want to tackle.
Okay, here's our roadmap for today. First, building with AI. Second, we'll meet the 3 platforms. Third, we're going to do a massive pricing reality check. And fourth, we'll wrap it up with the trade-off triangle. Let's just dive right in.
Section 1. Building with AI.
Before we look at any tools, we really need to reset our mental model. If you strip away all the flashing marketing, an automation platform is literally just infrastructure that sits there, watches for events, and performs actions. When you're building these systems, the AI isn't the entire machine. It's really just a single node inside a much larger pipeline that connects to your tools and operates totally without you. Let's break down these 3 basic primitives.
It all kicks off with the trigger. This is the spark. Something happens out there in the real world to get things going. Maybe a form gets submitted, a new row pops into a spreadsheet, or a hot new lead drops into your CRM. Every single platform out there has a dedicated list of these triggers that it's constantly listening for.
Right after the trigger, we hit the actions. Think of these like dominoes falling. These are the chain sequences, maybe they loop, maybe they branch off, that the platform actually performs on your behalf using your own accounts. So it might send a welcome email, then log that data into a Google Sheet, and finally ping your team in Slack.
And here's where it gets super interesting. The AI step. For us builders, an LLM call, whether you're using Claude, GPT, DeepSeek, whatever, it's honestly just another kind of action step. You just wire it right in. You can have it act as a classifier for messy inbound emails, an extractor pulling data from PDF invoices, or even a smart router deciding where a message should go next. The AI model basically just talks to your tools, and you trust it to do its job.
Okay, Section 2. Meet the 3 platforms. Let's get to know Zapier, Make, and 8n.
First up on the roster is Zapier. You probably know them. They are the famous pioneer. Founded way back in 2011, Zapier basically invented the modern workflow automation category. They are hands down the largest and most recognizable name we're going to talk about today.
So who is Zapier for? Well, it's absolutely fantastic for non-technical users who just want to prototype something incredibly fast. They lean hard on a massive, unmatched catalog of over 8,000 app integrations. Seriously, if a SaaS product exists out in the wild, Zapier can probably talk to it. It uses a super approachable, linear, step-by-step structure, and it has some genuinely great democratized AI tools baked in, like Copilot. But, and this is a big but, it is strictly hosted on their servers. There's no self-hosting, which means your data is passing through their infrastructure.
Now, if Zapier is the accessible pioneer, our second platform, Make, is the visual power user's absolute dream. It dramatically raises the ceiling of what you can build before you ever have to write a single line of code.
Make handles workflows very differently. Instead of a simple top-to-bottom list, Make gives you this beautiful visual flowchart canvas. You get native routers for conditional branching, iterators for complex loops, and you can see your entire data flow mapped out spatially. It's a game changer. It also has per-module error handling, so if one specific step fails, you can just route it to a backup path instead of the entire system crashing. It connects to roughly 2,000 apps, so a bit fewer than Zapier, but it gives you way deeper configuration for the ones it does support.
And finally, we arrive at N8n. Think of N8n as the open-source architect. If Zapier is all about approachability, and Make is all about visual complexity, N8n is about one thing: absolute, total control.
NN is the go-to heavyweight for technical teams. Why? Because you can actually self-host it for free on your own infrastructure, which means you keep total data sovereignty. When the visual drag-and-drop stuff just isn't cutting it, you can drop right into JavaScript or Python code nodes. But the real kicker for us? The recent 2.0 update brought in native LangChain integrations. That makes NN the premier, absolute best choice for building true AI-native, multi-agent systems right from the ground up.
Section 3. The pricing reality check. This is where things get really wild at scale.
We've got 3 totally different billing models to wrap our heads around. Let's start with Zapier. They use a per-task model. The initial trigger is free, but every single successful action step after that costs you one distinct task. So if you have a simple 5-step workflow, you are burning 4 tasks every single time that thing runs. Make uses a slightly more forgiving per-operation model. It's similar to Zapier's logic, but your dollar goes a lot farther here. That being said, it still counts every single internal module that touches or processes your data. So if you've got highly complex loops running, they can quietly eat through your entire monthly budget if you aren't paying attention. And then we have NNN, which flips the script completely with a per-execution model. This is fundamentally different. An entire end-to-end workflow run counts as exactly one execution, literally one unit. It does not matter if your workflow has 3 steps or if it's a massive web of 30 steps, it counts as one. To really put this into perspective, let's look at a quick worked example. Imagine you have a standard 5-step B2B SaaS lead routing workflow and it runs 5,000 times a month. On Zapier, that's 20,000 tasks, which is going to push your bill well over $300 a month. On Make, those 25,000 operations will run you somewhere between $30 and $60. But on a self-hosted end-to-end setup, those 5,000 executions only cost whatever you're paying for server space. We're talking like $5 to $25 a month.
I mean, just look at that gap. It is staggering. Even at this relatively moderate scale, self-hosting end-to-end can actually be up to 50 times cheaper than Zapier. Now multiply that delta across 10 or maybe 15 production workflows for a whole company. That cost difference can literally equate to a junior engineer's salary. This right here is exactly why so many mid-market companies end up migrating.
Section 4. The Trade-off Triangle. How do we synthesize all of this?
Okay, here is the golden rule of automation platforms. You can have any 2 corners of this triangle, but you absolutely cannot have all 3. If you prioritize ease of use and you just need an automation live by lunchtime today, Zapier is your winner. If you need serious power, complex visual branching, and deep loops, but you don't want to code, Make wins. And if you need self-hostability, high-volume cost efficiency, and total architectural control over your AI agents, NN takes the crown.
I actually highly recommend pausing the explainer right here and grabbing a quick screenshot of this reference table. It perfectly locks in everything we just talked about. Pay special attention to that bottom row, AI maturity. Zapier is your best bet for democratized, accessible AI. Make is perfect for weaving AI seamlessly into complex visual workflows. But N8N stands completely alone when AI is the core, foundational architecture of your entire system.
As we wrap things up, I want to leave you with a real, practical challenge. Think about an actual bottleneck or automation problem you are dealing with at work right now. Based on that triangle we just looked at, ease, power, and control, which platform are you going to reach for to ship a solution by the end of the day? Lock in your answer, trust the framework, and get out there and start building.